Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Monty Allen, and I am your crypto nerd. And today, you're a day late and an algo short because this is yesterday's Algorand news, and we have got a ton of it to get through. So let's jump into it. So first up, all eyes on the upcoming Algorand AVM. All right, so this is the Algorand virtual machine. Now, Ninos is talking about this, and Ninos is kind of a big deal, right? Aren't you, Ninos? So, if you may remember, we talked about him, about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, because he's part of Arrington XRP Capital, the fund that has put significant support behind Algorand and several different Algorand projects. So, Ninos is talking about this. Who else is talking about this? We got Arximedes. Arx, how do we say your name? I'm just going to call you Arx. Hey, Arx. All right, so what does the AVM do? So examples, building foundations on AMM. Now, I think he's talking about automated market makers here. Now, this is outside of my wheelhouse. I am not a techno guy for like any stretch of the imagination. I don't do any development or coding or anything like that. I also don't do technical analysis. I am in Algorand purely for the fundamentals and for the big picture, and I'm just a big fan. So that's why I do these. So sometimes when these technical things come up, it's outside of my wheelhouse, but they're really exciting, and I try to catch up and translate for you what these things mean. Automated market makers. We're also talking about teal and reach language and having automated atomic swaps, and we can also do enhance some of the transactions that are automated here for us, the contracts. So Zestbloom is also talking about this. Zestbloom, if you haven't checked out Zestbloom, I'm going to link Zestbloom here, actually. I don't think we've done a show on Zestbloom, but go check out Zestbloom regarding NFTs, and it's a cool gallery, actually, for NFTs. So go check out Zestbloom. The NFT thing, it kind of came, it kind of went, but Zestbloom is here to stay, folks. So go check them out. That's just kind of an aside, but they're also excited about the Algorand virtual machine. All right, what else we got? Our friend Alex Strafonis over there at AlgoDex is taking a look at it and trying to figure out, okay, how can we use these contracts in what we do here for DeFi? So there are significant benefits for the DeFi world, for NFTs. We've got people that are all around looking at this. So there's a couple of articles. This is the kind of the official one here, the released by Algorand themselves. And take a look at it. I'll put the link in here as well. So this is really just kind of a really short snapshot of what's going on, how it can help. It can help with dApps, it helps with DeFi, helps with Zestbloom's NFTs, anybody who has any contracts that go back and forth. Oh, I mentioned Reach earlier, but you can actually write this on Python as well. And there's some really cool things, like what if you wanted to split the closing costs on an NFT? What if NFTs were involved in a real estate transaction? This will help set up a contract where you can split the closing costs. So if there's something expensive, what's the cost to transfer that? Right now it's next to nothing, doesn't really matter, but you could split up some transaction fees using this new system here. So the contracts are adaptable, and that next level ease of use is going to be what differentiates us from other smart contract blockchains. All right, let's see what else we got on today's docket. There were two big stories. This is the second one. So FinCEN registered firm Copper Crypto is now helping with the custody for Algorand and Algorand ASAs. Finbold actually put out this article here. Copper is based out of the UK, and they've got a lot of big-time clients, actually. So let's take a look. Somebody else is talking about them. Daisy, if you do, chimed in and basically linked another article. This one is from Finance Yahoo. I'll link all of these articles in here. And then we've got Copper themselves put out a brief announcement here. Algorand put one out here, but I'm sure you saw that already. So what does all this mean? Right now, why do we need a separate custody? I thought Algorand was safe, secure, right? I mean, they solved the trilemma. It was supposed to be super safe. Well, gosh, you know what? Algorand is working on so much right now. Why not outsource some of these tasks that they have been handling themselves to someone whose only specialty is that? is making sure that something is safe, secure, the custody is protected. And that allows them to allocate resources to other locations, like working on, cross-border payments or CBDCs, for instance, right? So there's other things that they want to allocate resources to, I am sure. Now, we've got some cool highlights from this announcement that went out. It's relatively short, but there are a couple of key things here that I want to pull out. So, number one, they are taking care of the ALGO tokens and the ASAs. Now, there are currently 4.5 million ASAs. Is that a real number? That seems like an awful lot. But gosh, if it's that big and there are only more coming, if you think of all the Opals and the Yieldleys and, the Dex is going to have one, Mint's going to have a bunch of them. Like, all of these are ASAs. And so, gosh, keeping track of them, the custody of all of them is going to be a full-time job. No wonder we want to outsource this to someone who's a professional at that. Now, Algorand is enterprise ready. Now, this is business speak for we want corporate clients. Enterprise ready means we want business on a big scale and we can expand relatively quickly. So that's a corporate pitch right there. Thousands of transactions per second, and we know that's actually increasing in the very near future. And then they specifically, but not specifically, talk to me about the trilemma. So talk to me about the trilemma without mentioning the trilemma. Well, I'll tell you what, Algorand is faster, more scalable, and more secure compared to the other first-gen blockchain. So this is layer 1 protocol with solving the trilemma: faster, safer, scalable. All right. And then the use cases, we're talking about real estate. Now, I have talked multiple times about the real estate implications for Algorand and the Algorand blockchain. Now, there are several different companies who are making moves in this area, and I'm watching all of them like a hawk because I'm really excited about that particular section. Microfinance, we talked about Algorand making the change to Folks Finance the other day. And there's 700 organizations building on the platform. 700. Think about that. Now, not all of those have come to fruition yet, but 700 organizations currently building on the platform. That's a ton. So once we get this ecosystem up and running, now we didn't have like the fastest start, but we are making up ground very, very quickly in the Algorand ecosystem. We used to set out those infographics that showed like, who all was in our ecosystem, and it might have had like, we were excited when we hit like 100. I had to squeeze down some logos and, now 700, are you kidding me? Like, I can't even make an infographic with 700 logos on it. That's ridiculous. So 700 organizations are building on Algorand right now. No wonder we need somebody else to help us out with some ASA security and custody. All right, I'm sure Algorand could have done it themselves, but it just makes sense to outsource some of those things. All right, so those are the two big stories. We've also got a couple of odds and ends here, and they shouldn't go unnoticed. So number one, the governance referendum voting happened yesterday. If you had a node, if you ran a node, you vote with it. And basically, my feeling here is that this is most assuredly, passing. We are going to be able to stake our algos with the governance system, and our algos will be staked and we can vote with them. You and I, just the layperson, we don't need to have any fancy code. We will be able to partake in deciding who gets grants, for instance, what projects are prioritized. Those are going to be in the hands of the Algonauts, us. So I am a huge fan of this. I love the idea. A few like drawbacks, I think. What happens if so many people stake their algos in the governance system because the rate of return? What if that decreases the amount of algos available for like a Yieldly or something? But minor concerns. I think overall it's in a pretty good spot. Also, Algorand announced the QVote partnership, which is interesting because now we have this governance where a bunch of us are going to get to vote. So anyway, QVote, I think it stands for quadratic voting. It's basically choiced rank or ranked choice voting. So what I gather is they issue some current walled garden coins or tokens, and you get to spend your tokens on the various options, whatever you're voting on. And then you get a spread of what the preference is as far as voting goes. It's all safe, secure, and that's interesting. I wonder if that's going to be in any way, shape, or form incorporated into how we govern the Algorand Foundation. Also, AlgoMint raised 1.5 million, I want to say the number was, in their latest seed round, which is really interesting. I covered AlgoMint the other day with their wrapping of other projects into ASA. So they've got Go BTC, for instance. So it's ALGO, so now it's Go BTC. So all of those are wrapped coins, and I think that's going to be really interesting to watch those trade on something like an algo deck. So I know those two know each other. They've had some conversations, and if one's making the algo, wrapped tokens, you got to have a market for it. So I wonder if they are going to work hand in hand there. I would be excited to see that. But 1.5 million, look at the names on there. We also see Borderless Capital. That's a name we're very familiar with. So the money folks, follow the money. Speaking of money, I didn't put a picture on here, but Yieldly, it's no loss lottery Yieldly day. So if you haven't tried Yieldly, I'm not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form, but I personally have gone on there. It seems safe. It seems secure. I'm comfortable doing it. It's kind of fun. I'm giving up some of my Algorand, staking rewards for the chance of winning some more. Also, I get some Yieldly, and the Yieldly token for me actually is a little more appealing than anything else involved with that. And I think that they just want to capture our attention so they can gather up some algo. And they're clearly, they've got their rake, so to speak. They're making some off of us, but they need that to build their bridges to help with the DeFi ecosystem. So I'm all for it. So there you have it. That was yesterday's Algorand news. Well, I guess Yieldly is today's news. But all right, have a great day. Be algo safe. Be algo strong. #AlgoNews on Twitter. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.